Jason, what stood out about what you guys need to do better going back and watching the film, especially to kind of attack their defense and some of the switching that they're doing there?
Yeah, I thought we were, too much one-on-one. We got to move bodies. We got to move the ball. Multiple guys got to, touch the ball. We were just too stagnant, and that's not the way we play. So we got to be better tomorrow.
You've gone up against Joe Mazzulla a handful of times. What's that coaching matchup like? What are some of the tendencies and things you just kind of notice from his coaching style that, you're going to have to match up against in this series?
Unfortunately, we're not playing. So I don't know how to answer that question. I'm taller. I would post him up, but he'd probably be more physical. He's one of the best coaches in this league. He's gotten his teams to the finals. They played at a high rate. He understands his group. And so when you talk about Joe, he's done an incredible job. And it's not easy, especially when you're favored or supposed to, be somewhere. It puts his group plays at a high level. His group plays hard, and he's one of the best coaches in the league. So for that, we got our work cut out as a coaching staff. We got to be better.
Tim, over here.
Jason, going back and looking at Kyrie's shots, what did you think of the shots he was able to get? And, you're talking about needing to move the ball more. How can you get him the ball in more advantageous situations?
Yeah, he got great looks. Unfortunately, our two quarterbacks had turnovers that normally, don't happen. So give credit to Boston. But we believe that the shots that he got in game one were great looks. They just didn't go down.
Hey, Jason Dewey Scruggs here. In game twos, you guys have won them. What adjustments have you been able to make in the past that have allowed you guys to take a game one loss, for instance, and then get a game two?
Well, I think there's no panic with this group. We don't, we didn't play well in game one. Give credit to Boston, they did. But it's a series, and we don't just look or capitalize on just one game. We've lost game one a lot of times, and we've responded. So we believe that we can respond to game two, and we just try to take it one game at a time. And so we didn't have a really good first quarter there. At the end of the first, put us down, but the guys kept fighting. We found a way to get it to 8. It was very similar to the way the playoffs have started for us with the Clippers. We didn't play well. But we got it, we cut that 30-point lead down and made a game of it. But we responded in game two on the road. And so hopefully we can do the same thing here in Boston.
On your right, Michael in second row.
Michael Pina, the Ringer. Jason, what are some of the problems that Jason Tatum can create on both ends, and what did you think of your defensive execution against him in game one?
Yeah, Jason, he's one of the best offensive players in this league, and understanding that he puts a lot of pressure behind the three, behind the line, and then also being able to get, to the rim, so he's not one that just settles. So we got to, again, try to keep him, from getting to the rim, keeping him off the free throw line, and then giving him wide open threes. And so that's not easy. It's easier said than done, but again, we just got to make it tough on him. And then on the defensive end, he uses his length. He's strong, and he's not one to give in. So we got to find other ways to score.
Joe, front right.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. You knew that KP was going to play game one. Were you surprised that he came off the bench? And is there an extra or unique challenge of having to guard or worry about him coming in as a second unit guy?
Yeah, we knew that he was going to play, and he played well. He played well coming off the bench. And so he's played well starting or as he showed coming off the bench. So we got to make it tougher on him. When he starts to, get going, he can shoot it from half court, with range. And so we got to be able to take some of those threes away. And then on the other end, we got to make him work. But we also got to account for, being able to, when you go to the basket, he's going to be there, and so you got to count that he's got a good chance of blocking your shot. So we got to take advantage of his overhelp at times.
Jeff over here on the left, fourth row.
Jeff Zogett, USA Today. Jason, you've mentioned that you, Kyrie, and Luka, shared a similar position. I wondered if you three are able to have, conversations, just amongst you three to the team, given what you guys can see or, did see on the basketball court. What are those conversations like?
Yeah, I think we happen to play the same position. Some are a little bit better than others. But when you look at the things that we have to do just in this series better, we got to take care of the ball. We got to make it easier for Kai and Luka. So, being able to put those guys in different, spots on the floor so that they can, there's a little bit stress-free so that they can do what they do at a high level. We just didn't do that in game one. But it's really simple conversation when you talk about some of the things that we have to do, not just on the offensive end, but and Kai and Luka, take responsibility for that. But our conversations are really simple and to the point. When you talk about the high IQ, you don't have to, sit there and paint the picture. You just can get right to it, and they understand from my side what I'm asking them to do, and then when they respond, I understand what their responses are and what they're talking about and what they see. So it's worked at an extremely high level for when we do talk in game or on a day like today of what we're trying to get to, and those guys trust what I see or what I'm telling them, and I trust their response.
Third row on the right, Tim.
Jason, Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. You said there's no panic. Kind of worked because they got it down to 8 pretty quickly. Did you think the team was being a little too either fearful or maybe even respectful of the, Celtics environment? You got young guys come out here and they see all the championship banners and everything going on. Why did you tell them to have fun?
Yeah, it's not about screaming or yelling. It's about
with Luka having the ball, getting pressured a little bit in the backcourt, taking some time off the clock, and then getting into your half-court offense. When you watched film with the team, was there anything you saw about maybe getting into the paint a little bit more to rotate some of their defense so you get maybe lobs or those corner threes? Is there any adjustments that you'll have for that?
Yeah, we'll make some adjustments, but Boston's going to give the layup to Luka, so he's got to take it. And so they're not going to give him the lob. And they're not going to give the corner three. And so it's 2-on-2, and so we have to take advantage of that. And we miss some layups. We miss some shots in the paint. That happens. But we believe that Kai and Luka will get into the paint and make them in game 2. But there's no different than what we saw in Minnesota. Just understanding that Boston is a really good defense, and being able to bluff or take away something, we trust that Luka and Kai will pivot and do what's best, and that's take the layup or take the easy 2 and continue to just wear out the paint and layups. But we got to make those too, because on the other end, if you don't make them and they come down and they make a couple threes, it puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
Melissa, last question in front.
Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. What makes going against a guy like Jalen so challenging?
Well, Jalen's their best player, so just looking at what he does defensively, he picked up Luka full court. He got to the free throw line. He did everything, and that's what your best player does. Just understanding. He plays both sides, defense and offense, at a high rate, and he's been doing that the whole playoffs. I mean, when you talk about the Eastern Conference MVP, and it seems like he's continued to pick up where he left off, and so he's playing at a high rate. We just got to be a little bit more physical with him. And again, we got to keep him off the free throw line and out of the paint because, again, he was finishing at a high rate or he was getting fouled and getting to the free throw line.
Hi, Luka. Nancy Lieberman. Yes, when you had a chance to watch the film and you saw how they were playing you, what difference do you think you can do to be able to get into the paint so you can maybe manipulate the defense and get your passes or your lobs off?
Yeah, I think just be a little bit more aggressive. I think we all came out of the game with little energy. So I think we gotta be better with our energy, especially from the start.
60. Vimos una desincronía total ofensivamente en este partido a diferencia de la serie anterior. ¿A qué atribuyes esa desincronía, la defensa especial de Boston, o a qué lo atribuyes?
Creo que son la segunda mejor defensa de la NBA. Por eso es difícil jugar contra ellos. Y por eso hemos visto mucho vídeo, a ver cómo atacarlo. Y hay que hacerlo mejor. Creo que tenemos que ser más agresivos.
Front right, Bobby.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Luka, Kyrie's talked a little bit about, how the crowd gets on him here, how he kind of deals with that. When you hear them kind of going after him, is that something you take personally too? Do you guys talk about that? Like, is that something that kind of impacts you at all, kind of here in Boston?
No, I don't think so. We just, we talk about it, but we just got to stay together. I think we talked about too, we got to talk more on the court than we did in game one. So that's got to be better from my side too.
Luka, por acá, Pedro Silva, Univisión Dallas. Preguntarte, hace unos minutos Jason Kidd hablaba que en el primer partido, durante el medio tiempo, les decía que tienen que divertirse, que tienen que tratar quizás de enfocarse en jugar el juego. ¿Crees que es algo que sintieron la presión o que algo que han hablado entre los compañeros para tratar de solamente salir ahí y divertirse en estas finales?
Bueno, sí, creo que es muy importante lo que ha dicho Jason, divertirse, pero también tenemos que hacer un mucho mejor trabajo en la defensa, quitar esos triples que han sido muchos liberados y contestarlos.
Fourth row in the aisle over here.
Hi, Luka. Esteban Bustillos, GBH News. You've been in Dallas your whole NBA career, and after going through Game 1, having the emotions sort of calm down, I wonder, have you had any time to reflect on what it means for you just to be representing Dallas here in the finals?
It's big. This is the team that drafted me, the team that believe in me. So I'm really happy to represent Dallas. Hopefully it's not the last time. But I think the whole Dallas is proud of our team. So I'm happy to represent them.
Back left.
Tedaj Lam pred Pop TV. Luka, vaš trener Jason Kidd je bil v položaju, v katerem ste vi, igral je v finalu, osvojil je finale. Ma za vas kakšen poseben nasvet, ste se kaj posebej pogovarjala?
Ne, niso se nič posebej pogovarjala. Sam zadnjič mi je rekel, da oni so tudi izgubili prvo tekmo, se spomnim. Drugo so prišli nazaj. Mislim, da 20 pik so izgubljali, tako da samo treba se sfokusirati na naslednjo tekmo.
Back center. Next question.
Asar Thompson, Thompson Twin Network. I was wondering, when you play, it seems like you play so freely and you have so much fun. And I was wondering how you are able to balance playing freely and being serious at the same time.
I don't really know, but I just trying to have fun. That's the game I love. That's the game that gets me paid. And it's nothing better than the world that playing basketball for your job. So just trying to enjoy it.
Next one, fourth row in the center.
¿Qué tal, Lucas? Sergio Andrés, drafteados. Después de una derrota como la del otro día, ¿cómo de importante es la química que hay en el grupo? ¿Y cuándo te diste cuenta, si es que hubo un momento, de que era un grupo realmente especial a ese nivel de química de vestuario?
Sí, la química está muy bien. Hemos hablado por partido, ayer también. La química está bien, todos estamos juntos, estamos en la misma página. Y bueno, después del traspaso creo que nos hemos esforzado mucho, así que ya lo sabía yo que podemos llegar lejos.
Anyone with a last question? Last one on the far right. We'll get the microphone over to you in a second.
Luka, a bit of a two-parter. I'll start with a light one. Kylian Mbappe went to Real recently. I'm wondering if you had a reaction to that.
I already knew it.
Had you spoken to him at all?
No, not yet. I mean, not since he signed.
And I guess, do you have a prediction for the upcoming Euros?
Slovenia.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Luka.
Daniel Gafford acquired mid-season. What an acquisition he's been. Tatum stumbles a bit, lost it. Kyrie Irving, quick outlet. PJ Washington. Washington goes to the rim. And a strong finish. Yeah, there was a hesitancy to him talking about it, as he so desperately wants to play. This is the furthest he's... Oh, Doncic with Celtics surrounding him. Porzingis coming out on his former teammate Doncic. Gets inside, he's double teamed, has to take a rough shot. And PJ Washington right there to throw it down. Doncic. Bumped by Porzingis, steps back, three-pointer, puts it in. Luka Doncic with 17.
Kyrie, Newey Scruggs, NBC, DFW. What do you say to the Mav fans who panicked after Game 1 for getting ready for Game 2?
It's not the first time. It's not the first time we hear the Dallas fans are panicking, man. But yeah, shout out to our fans. We appreciate your support all year. Just stay poised, man. Stay focused on the goal. This mission's bigger than us.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Kyrie, you've been part of multiple star duos. How does debate about whose team is it, who's the best player on a team, affect a team?
You said, how does it?
Debate, discussion about whose team is this? Who's the best player on the team? How does that affect a team? And as a part of a star tandem,
yeah,
how do you handle that?
By doing your best not to pay attention to it, because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Specifically, if you've never played that position or been on a team at that level where you have to go through it yourself. And I know that we have people that appreciate the game of basketball that speak on it, but at the same time, it's an everyday thing when you're on the team with other guys that add value to the team. They have skill sets, they work on their game, and they want to be appreciated too. So I do my best to nonchalantly push that conversation to the side of 1A, 1B, or whose team is it? Is this that? I'm just here to play basketball. It's a dream come true to be at this level. I had to work extremely hard. I've been a winner my whole entire life. I've obviously had some failures and lost, but done a lot more winning, used to it. So in order to be on that type of frequency or that goal, you got to be selfless in your approach. And obviously you're not going to get it right all the time, but as a teammate, you just want to push those other things to the side that don't really matter or get you better as a team. So we just leave it to everybody else to argue whose team is in, who has the most responsibility. It's all our jobs to be prepared. So, shitty conversation, but it has to happen in sports.
Over here, Lisa.
Lisa Salters from ESPN. You said after Game 1, I got to be better. We've got to be better. Just what's the key to having a great bounce back game for the team and for you personally?
Just by paying attention to how we prepare and also just the adjustments, sticking to the game plan.
Nancy in the fourth row.
Hi, Kyrie. Nancy Lieberman. How are you?
Yeah, how you doing?
With so many people talking about the energy that the team came out with the other day, is it energy and execution, or what is the secret sauce for Game 2?
Secret sauce? What do you mean?
What adjustments do you think you have to make on your teammates for Game 2?
It was our first time being together as a group in this final stage. Experience is the best teacher at times when you don't know what to expect. So going out there on TD Garden, playing against the Boston Celtics, we're having a historic season. We knew that they were going to come out with a lot of verve, a lot of energy. They've been doing it all year, so they've been consistent on their end. I think it's pretty easy to just say we can focus on our end and pay attention to what we can control, but it's a little bit deeper than that. Just got to calm our nerves, poise our nerves a little bit, and also just be aware of the environment that we're in. It's going to be high intense from who we're going against. It's going to be very physical. Some things are going to be called, some things aren't. So I think we got all that experience in game one, and we're looking forward to the challenge in game two to playing better and being who we have been since post All-Star break, and just having fun and doing it. It's the highest level of basketball right now. We're the only two teams playing, so we're proud of ourselves, but we're not satisfied, and we just got to continue to be ourselves.
Shane, left side here, fifth row.
Hey, Kyrie, Shane Young with Forbes. I'm just curious what Coach Kidd is like in the moments when you're trailing big in game one. I know he was telling you guys just have fun out there.
Yeah, he was reiterating the same things I'm saying, probably a little bit more simple. But yeah, he's been giving us a lot of peace of mind, especially when we're out there, high intense environment, like I said. So we just got to play better.
Bobby, front right.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Kyrie, you talk about the environment. I know you've talked a lot about the crowd. How have you kind of learned in that environment to, handle it? Is it better to just ignore it? Do you engage with particular fans? Like, how did that kind of play out in game one as you've kind of been in this environment multiple times now?
By realizing that I've been in this league for 13 years, and I've been playing against the Celtics for quite a few years, and I have quite a few playoff series against them, whether wins or losses. So I just try to be aware that this is a new space that I'm in as one of the leaders of the team and with a new group, and giving them that peace of mind. Like I said, when things get tough, we're going against a very historic team in the Boston Celtics, but we're a great team too, and we earned our way to be here. So we just got to remember that. And engaging with fans here in Boston is always fun. Like I said last week, it's something I've turned the page over onto, but people continue to ask me about it and what do I think about it, which is cool too. But yeah, this is what makes sports fun. This is what makes the stories fun. Getting a chance to go against a giant like this, whether it be just talking about the team or talking about the environment and the fans and how crazy it can get. This is what I imagine it being like, getting to this stage again, earning our way to be here with my teammates, and being able to put our best foot forward, going against the best of the best. That's all you dream of. Everything else is just extracurricular.
Again, in the second row on the right.
Kyrie, Mike Leslie, WFA. I feel like during your time with Dallas, part of why you've had the success that you've had is because you've been able to just focus on basketball. In this series with so much hoopla surrounding your former time with the Celtics, there's blow-up dolls of you outside the arena. There's a lot of things going on.
What else is there?
There's some things that I probably can't get into right now. But I feel like I'm wondering from your perspective, because I don't know if everybody made a big deal of the shamrock on your pants at shoot-around earlier this week, and I don't know if there was actually anything to that or not, but you made the comment post-game the other night that you thought it was going to be louder in here. And I guess what I'm wondering is, has this been the hardest moment for you to laser in and focus on basketball because there is so much other stuff going on?
No, not really. Again, I've been able to grow over the past few years to put basketball in perspective. This is an incredible experience that I get to live out for quite a few years of my life. I'm going to learn a lot of lessons that I'm going to apply to life after this. I failed miserably while also not knowing how to compartmentalize or accept the emotions that come with failure, and also being on the successful side, didn't know how to handle that either. So the past few years have been about that growth perspective for me, and learning how to handle myself in situations and circumstances that are going to be more beneficial for me to learn now than learning it when I'm 38 years old and I'm looking back at my career and I don't even know how to celebrate that. I don't expect to be celebrated by everybody. I'm gonna, still be aware that a lot of people want to see me fail. But again, I think I pay attention more to the way that I'm celebrated from people that love me unconditionally, and I go home and I have a peace of mind. And thinking about my time in Boston, I could go down a myriad of things that none of you in here know that I was dealing with. I don't think a lot of people would care. I think a few people would care and want to hear about it, and I would leave that space open in the future if you ever wanted to hear about it. But putting in perspective, it's just the blow-up dolls, all the remarks that are getting said. That's basketball. When I leave out of here and I walk around Boston, I don't hear a lot of the things that I hear when I'm playing on the court. There's a lot of mutual respect. There's a lot of eye-to-eye communication that's built on just being human, and they appreciate the things I do off the floor as well. So there are a lot of Celtics fans out there that still love me too, surprising to everybody. But when I'm on the street walking around, which I do, it's a lot of love. I get a lot of embrace. I take pictures. My dad is here. He played at Boston University. So there has to be a respect there, because if anything happens, to my family while I'm here, then it goes way beyond the game, you know. And I don't forget things either. Somebody threw something at me here while I was here. I've heard it all. Nobody asked me how I felt after that and why it could be a little bit of a traumatic response when I'm back in this environment after somebody does something like that, you know. So things have changed since then. I've been able to accept what I cannot change, but also change the way that I look at things to be more positive. So this is fun for me, man. This is healthy. I'm glad that I could be up on this stage speaking authentically and then also go home and be at peace.
Fourth row, Jeff on the left.
Jeff Zilliott, USA Today. Kyrie, when it's you, Jason, and Luka watching film, talking basketball, how unique or different of an experience is that maybe when it's people who don't quite have the same collective experience and see the way you guys see the game? How unique and different and enjoyable is that?
Yeah, teaching is fun. Being a student is even more fun. So when you're in a film session with Jay Kidd or Coach Sweeney or even Luka and myself and the rest of our guys, there's a lot of honest communication going on, just what we see. And we always make sure that we're aware that, you know, we're a new group in this environment too. So give ourselves some grace, give ourselves some patience, and just be ready to play our best game every day as we prepare. The things that we see out there, we got to talk about it. Some of the cues that you would normally have when you make it to this level, we're still developing, and that's okay. So as we look to become an even better team, a greater team through this experience, this is what's needed. It's just that honest communication.
Last question, back center.
Asar Thompson, I was wondering how you managed to stay locked in this deep into the season and take care of your body, and how do you train in order to get to this point in the season? Because, you know, after my rookie year, I learned that, we haven't been playing for like a month and a half, and you guys are still going like every day. So I was just wondering how you're able to take care of your body and how you train for that.
Yeah, I would start off with this, Asar. Try not to get FOMO as best you can, just because you're so used to playing every single day, working out every single day towards a goal. And now that that goal isn't necessarily there to win the championship, you have to set other goals, and that comes from a personal standpoint. You know, what do you want to accomplish bringing into next season? It starts now while no one is watching, while it's just you by yourself or with your brother, or you're playing 5-on-5. Just working on the things that everyone said that you weren't great at, or that you could not do, or you see within yourself that you need to improve, because you're seeing how hard it is to get here and how long you have to stay locked in, as you said. So I've been able to find some peace of mind throughout this journey, throughout this year, of just making this phrase like our team bonding thing, like just peaking at the right time. Some teams peak really early, some teams peak in the middle of the season, some teams start peaking at the end. Some teams get into the playoffs or get deep into the playoffs and they peak. So it just depends on where you are as a team and your understanding of what you're doing, and also appreciating all the hard work that it took to get here. You know, a lot of our peers are watching. They're trying to get back to where we are, get here. So we got to be aware that the hunger is going to be in you more next year. But we're also going to be hungry, too, to, you know, show why we're one of the best in the world. 2 teams left. Dream come true as a kid to be on the finals, see the court change a little bit, see all the stickers, see the 600 media members and credentials that we get. It could be a lot, but it's also something that you want to appreciate because you never know when you're going to get back. So take your time, but also work your tail off right now, because I know that I'm going to have to get ready for you guys next season. So
thank you, Kyrie.